I was 23 when my family decided I was the failure. My brother Tyler had just gotten his MBA from a state school. Nothing Ivy League, nothing spectacular, but my parents acted like he'd cured cancer. They threw him a graduation party that cost more than my entire year's rent. 200 guests. Catered food. A slideshow of his achievements that somehow managed to avoid mentioning the 3 times he'd changed majors or the semester he'd failed out before switching to business. I didn't go to that party. I was in my apartment, coding until 3 in the morning, living off ramen and coffee, building something I believed in. My parents noticed my absence. Mom called the next day. "You couldn't even show up for your brother's big day?" "I had a deadline, Mom." "A deadline?" Her voice dripped with contempt. "For what? That computer thing you're doing?" "My startup, yes." She laughed. Actually laughed. "Honey, when are you going to get a real job? Tyler's already got 3 offers from major companies. You're just playing around in your apartment." I hung up without responding. That was the beginning of the end. Tyler had always been the favorite. Not because he was smarter or kinder or more ambitious. Simply because he fit the mold my parents had created. He wanted the right things: corporate job, big house, country club membership, the appearance of success. I wanted something different. I wanted to build something that mattered. After college, I'd taken a job at a small tech firm to learn the industry. I lived in a studio apartment in a rough neighborhood. I drove a 15-year-old Honda Civic that made concerning noises. I wore thrift store clothes and cut my own hair. Every spare dollar went into savings or my side project. My parents were mortified. "Why can't you be more like your brother?" became Mom's favorite refrain. Tyler, meanwhile, climbed the corporate ladder at a mid-sized logistics company. He bought a new car. He joined the right gym. He dated the right women. And then, 2 years ago, he met Vanessa. Vanessa came from money. Real money. Her father owned a chain of car dealerships across 3 states. She'd gone to private schools, summered in Europe, never worked a day she didn't want to. She was beautiful, polished, and absolutely certain of her place in the world. She took one look at me and decided I didn't belong in her world. At their engagement party, she asked me what I did for work. "I'm in tech," I said simply. "Oh, like IT support?" "Something like that." She smiled the way you smile at service workers. "That's nice." Tyler's in logistics management. Very demanding field. I nodded and excused myself. After that, family gatherings became uncomfortable. Vanessa would ask pointed questions about my apartment, my car, my clothes. Always with that same smile. Always making sure everyone heard the answers. "Still in that studio, Sarah? Haven't upgraded that car yet? Oh, you made that yourself? How creative." My parents never defended me. If anything, they agreed with her assessment. "Vanessa has a point," Mom said after one dinner. "You're 30 now. Maybe it's time to think about a real career. Tyler could probably get you an entry-level position at his company." "I have a career, Mom." "Playing with computers isn't a career." What my family didn't know was that my computer thing had become something real. For years ago, I'd identified a gap in the market for supply chain optimization software. The big companies had bloated, expensive systems. Small and medium businesses had nothing. I'd built a platform that gave smaller companies enterprise-level tools at a fraction of the cost. I'd started with 1 client, then 5, then 50. I'd hired my first employee 3 years ago, then a small team, then a real office. The business had grown quietly, steadily, deliberately. Last year, we'd hit 8 figures in revenue. 6 months ago, I'd been approached by a Fortune 500 company interested in acquiring us. The negotiations had been long and complex. The deal was for $160 million. I would walk away with $87 million after taxes and distributions to my early investors and employees. But I hadn't told my family any of this.
Why?
Because I'd learned something important over the years. People who dismiss you during the struggle don't deserve to celebrate with you during the victory. My parents had spent a decade telling me I was wasting my time. Tyler had spent the same decade making jokes about his little sister who plays with computers. Vanessa had spent 2 years treating me like I was an embarrassment to the family. I didn't owe them the truth. Besides, I'd wanted to see how they'd treat me when they thought I had nothing. That told me everything I needed to know about who they really were. The text came 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Mom, we need to talk about Thanksgiving this year. Me. Okay. Mom, Vanessa is hosting at her parents' estate. It's going to be very nice. Formal. Me. Sounds good. Mom, the thing is, Vanessa has concerns. I stared at my phone, already knowing where this was going. Me. What concerns? Mom, she's worked very hard on this dinner. She's invited some important people from her father's business circle. She wants everything to be perfect. Me. And the three dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally. Mom, she thinks it might be better if you skip this year. She's worried you might not fit in with the other guests. You know how you are. And Tyler agrees. He doesn't want his wife stressed on their first Thanksgiving as a married couple. I read the message 3 times. Me. You're uninviting me from Thanksgiving because Tyler's wife thinks I'm too poor? Mom, don't be dramatic. It's just one holiday. We'll do something small at Christmas. Vanessa just wants her first big hosting event to go smoothly. You understand, don't you? We can't have you there looking like, well, you know. Her father's business partners will be there. First impressions matter. I sat in my office, my real office, with the view of the city skyline, in the building my company leased 3 floors of, and laughed. Me. I understand completely. Mom, thank you for being mature about this. I knew you'd get it. Tyler will be relieved. He was worried you'd make a scene. I didn't respond. Thanksgiving Eve, I worked late in the office. My team had mostly gone home to their families. The acquisition deal would close in 2 weeks, pending final regulatory approval. Everything was in place. My phone buzzed with messages from the family group chat. Tyler. Everyone excited for tomorrow? Vanessa's been cooking for 2 days. Dad. Can't wait. Heard her parents' place is incredible. Mom. Vanessa sent me photos of the table settings. It looks like something from a magazine. Aunt Linda. Can't believe Sarah's missing this. What's she doing instead? Mom. Oh, you know Sarah. She's probably working on her computer thing. She doesn't really enjoy these family gatherings anyway. Tyler. She's better off. Honestly, Vanessa's crowd is pretty high-end. Sarah would have been uncomfortable. I muted the chat. Around 8 p.m., my phone rang. It was Marcus Chun, my co-founder and CTO. You see the email? He asked. Which one? PR team. CNN wants to do a segment on the acquisition. They're running it during their business news block tomorrow evening. 6 p.m. Eastern. Thanksgiving evening? Apparently, it's a slow news day. They're doing a whole piece on tech acquisitions and we're the lead story. They specifically want to highlight the supply chain angle. You know, young entrepreneur builds company from nothing, sells for 9 figures. Feel-good story stuff. I check my watch. Do they need me for anything? Nope. They're using the interview footage from last week and our press materials. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Figured you'd want to know before it airs. Thanks, Marcus. You going to tell your family? I'd told Marcus bits and pieces over the years. He knew the situation. No, I said. I don't think I will. He laughed. This is going to be interesting. I spent Thanksgiving alone in my apartment. Not the studio I'd lived in for years. I'd moved 6 months ago to a high-rise downtown, but I hadn't told my family about that either. As far as they knew, I still lived in the same rough neighborhood, still drove the same dying car, still struggled to make ends meet. I made myself a simple dinner. Turkey breast, mashed potatoes, green beans. I ate at my kitchen counter, scrolling through my phone. The family group chat was active. Mom. Photo of an elaborate table setting. Isn't this gorgeous? Vanessa really outdid herself. Tyler. My wife is amazing. Dad. This is the nicest Thanksgiving we've ever had. Vanessa had been added to the chat. She posted a selfie with Tyler, so grateful for family. The real family who shows up and supports each other. I almost laughed. At 6 p.m., I turned on CNN. The anchor was a woman I recognized from watching the business news. Professional, polished, authoritative. Tonight we're looking at a trend in the tech sector. Small, bootstrapped companies being acquired by major corporations for significant sums. Our lead story is about a 30-year-old entrepreneur who built a supply chain optimization platform from her studio apartment and just sold it for $160 million. My photo appeared on screen. It was from the interview I'd done 2 weeks ago. Professional headshot, blazer, looking nothing like the version of me my family knew. Sarah Mitchell started her company, Chainlink Solutions, 4 years ago with $5,000 in savings and a laptop. Today, her software serves over 3,000 companies across North America. Last month, she finalized a deal to sell Chainlink to Meridian Global Technologies for $160 million. They cut to footage from my interview. I saw a gap in the market, my recorded voice said. Small and medium businesses couldn't afford enterprise-level supply chain software. They were using spreadsheets and outdated systems. I knew there was a better way. The anchor continued. Mitchell's story is particularly remarkable because she built the company without venture capital funding, instead relying on revenue growth and strategic partnerships. Industry analysts say the acquisition represents one of the largest exits for a bootstrapped tech company this year. More interview footage. I wanted to prove you could build something valuable without taking the traditional path. You don't need an Ivy League degree or wealthy investors. You need a good idea, strong execution, and persistence. The segment ran for 6 minutes. They interviewed industry experts who praised the innovation. They showed footage of our office, our team, our growth trajectory. They mentioned the acquisition price 4 more times. My phone started ringing before the segment even ended. The first call was from my college roommate, Jessica. Oh my God, Sarah. I'm watching CNN. Why didn't you tell me? It wasn't final until recently. $160 million. Sarah, I can't even, holy shit. Yeah, I said, smiling. It's been a good year. Wait. Does your family know? Not yet. Not yet? Sarah, it's on CNN. I know. She started laughing. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is going to be incredible. The calls kept coming. Friends from college. Former coworkers. People I hadn't spoken to in years. Everyone had the same reaction. Shock, congratulations, and disbelief that I hadn't said anything. Around 6:30, my phone started getting texts from numbers I didn't recognize. LinkedIn messages. Facebook messages. Instagram DMs. The story was spreading. At 6:45, the family group chat exploded. Aunt Linda. Is this real? Aunt Linda. Screenshot of the CNN article. Aunt Linda. Sarah, you're on CNN. Uncle Rob. What the hell? Cousin Jennifer. Mom just called me screaming about Sarah being on TV. Aunt Linda. She sold her company for $160 million. Uncle Rob. That can't be right. Aunt Linda. It's on CNN. They interviewed her. There's a whole segment. Cousin Jennifer. I'm pulling it up now. Cousin Jennifer. My God. Cousin Jennifer. Mom, Dad, Tyler. You guys uninvited her from Thanksgiving? The chat went silent for 30 seconds. Then, Mom. Sarah? Mom. Sarah, is this real? Mom. Why didn't you tell us? Tyler. This is a joke, right? Dad. Sarah, call me immediately. I watched the messages roll in.
I didn't respond. My phone rang. Mom.
I declined the call. It rang again.
Tyler. Declined. Dad. Declined.
Tyler again. Declined. A text from Mom. Sarah Elizabeth Mitchell, you call me back right now. We need to talk about this CNN story. This is family business, and you should have told us. I muted the group chat. My phone kept ringing. I turned it on Do Not Disturb and poured myself a glass of wine. The next morning, I woke up to 47 missed calls and 32 voicemails. I listened to them while drinking my coffee. Mom's first voicemail, from 6:47 p.m. Sarah, we just saw you on CNN. What is going on? Call me back immediately. Everyone's asking questions, and we don't know what to tell them. This is very embarrassing for us. Tyler's first voicemail, 6:52 p.m. Sarah, what the fuck? You sold a company? They're saying 160 million? That's not real, right? Call me back. Vanessa is losing her mind. Dad, 7:03 p.m. Sarah, your mother is very upset. We need to discuss this situation. You've made us look foolish. We had no idea whatever you were doing. Call us back. Mom again, 7:15 p.m. Sarah, people won't stop calling. Everyone saw the news. Why wouldn't you tell your own family? Your brother is very hurt. Vanessa is humiliated. How could you let us uninvite you when you knew? Call me back.
It went on and on.
Around 9 p.m., the tone shifted. Mom, 9:03 p.m. Sweetheart, I've been thinking. We were maybe too hasty about Thanksgiving. There was a miscommunication. We really wanted you there. We always want you there. Your family. Call me back so we can talk about this properly. Tyler, 9:17 p.m. Hey, sis. Look, I think there's been some misunderstandings. Vanessa feels terrible about the Thanksgiving thing. She didn't mean anything by it. We should all get together and celebrate your success. You deserve it. Call me. Dad, 9:34 p.m. Sarah, I'm very proud of what you've accomplished. Your mother and I always knew you'd do something special. We should sit down as a family and discuss your future plans. There are important financial decisions to make, and family should be involved in these things. Call me. The last voicemail was from Vanessa herself at 11:47 p.m. Sarah, it's Vanessa. I just want to say that I'm so impressed by what you've achieved. I feel terrible about any miscommunication regarding Thanksgiving. I'd love to get to know you better. Maybe we could have lunch next week? Tyler gave me your number. Call me back. I deleted all the voicemails without responding to any of them. They didn't stop. Saturday morning, Mom showed up at my old apartment. The studio in the rough neighborhood. The one I hadn't lived in for 6 months. She called me from the parking lot. Sarah, I'm at your apartment. Let me up. I'm not there, Mom. What do you mean you're not there? Where are you? I moved 6 months ago. Silence. Then you moved? Where? Downtown. You didn't tell us? You didn't ask. Sarah, what has gotten into you? This attitude is very unlike you. We're family. We need to talk about this situation face to face. What situation? Your company. The money. The fact that you've been lying to us for years. I never lied, Mom. You never asked. You just assumed. Don't be smart with me, young lady. Where do you live? I'm coming over. No. Excuse me? I said no. I don't want visitors right now. I'm your mother. Then you should have treated me like your daughter when I actually needed you. I hung up. She called back 17 times. I didn't answer. Tyler tried a different approach. He sent a long text Saturday afternoon. Sarah, I know things have been weird between us. I'm sorry if I ever made you feel less than. You know how it is, you're my little sister. I was just teasing. I'm really proud of you. What you've built is incredible. I actually have some ideas about how you could expand the business, or if you're looking for new investment opportunities, I'd love to discuss them. My company has some connections that might be valuable to you. We should meet up. I'll buy dinner anywhere you want. Seriously, name the place. I want to make things right. I didn't respond. Sunday, Dad tried the guilt approach. Sarah, your mother hasn't stopped crying. She's devastated that you're shutting us out. This is killing her. Whatever we did to upset you, we're sorry. But you can't punish the whole family like this. We love you. We've always loved you. You're our daughter, our sister. Family is everything. Money doesn't change that. Please, let's talk. Let's work this out. Don't throw away your family over a misunderstanding. I didn't respond to that either. The extended family was a different story. Aunt Linda called Sunday evening. I actually answered. Sarah, honey, I just want you to know that I think what you did is incredible. And I'm furious with your mother. You are? She uninvited you from Thanksgiving? Because that snob Vanessa thought you were too poor? I told her yesterday that she should be ashamed of herself. I can't believe they treated you like that. Thanks, Aunt Linda. Listen, I'm not calling for money or anything like that. I just wanted you to know that I'm proud of you. And I'm sorry if I never took your work seriously. I should have asked more questions. I should have been more supportive. I appreciate that. Are you doing okay? This must be overwhelming. Honestly,
I'm fine.
better than fine. She laughed. I bet you are. Listen, if you need anything, and I mean anything, you call me. And if your mother keeps harassing you, you tell her to call me. I'll set her straight. That call actually felt good. Cousin Jennifer called next. Sarah, I just want to say that Tyler and Vanessa are getting absolutely roasted in the extended family chat. Like, roasted. Everyone's talking about how they uninvited you and now look stupid. It's beautiful. I couldn't help but smile. There's an extended family chat? Oh yeah, the one without your immediate family in it. We created it years ago because your mom is exhausting. Anyway, everyone's on your side. Uncle Rob said Tyler couldn't pour water out of a boot with instructions on the heel, and Aunt Linda said Vanessa wouldn't recognize class if it bit her Botoxed ass. I actually laughed. Aunt Linda said that? Direct quote. This is the most entertainment we've had in years. Monday morning, I went to my office like normal. My team was congratulatory but professional. We had work to do. The acquisition wasn't complete yet, and we had clients to serve. Around 10 a.m., my assistant knocked on my door. Sarah, there's a man here to see you. He says he's your brother. He doesn't have an appointment. I looked up from my laptop. Tyler's here. He's in the lobby. Says it's important. I considered sending him away, but curiosity won out. Send him up. 5 minutes later, Tyler walked into my office. He stopped in the doorway, staring around. My office was on the 23rd floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Modern furniture. Artwork on the walls. My framed Forbes 30 Under 30 feature from last year hung behind my desk. Holy shit, Tyler said.
Hey, Dylan.
He walked in slowly, still staring. This is your office? This is my office. But we thought you. You thought I worked IT support somewhere. I know. He sat down in one of the chairs across from my desk. He looked smaller than I'd ever seen him. Diminished. Why didn't you tell us? He asked quietly. You never ask. That's not fair. You let us think. I let you think what you wanted to think. You decided I was a failure because I didn't follow your path. You made assumptions. I didn't correct them. We're family, Sarah. Are we? He flinched. What does that mean? It means you uninvited me from Thanksgiving because your wife thought I was too poor to sit at her table. It means you spent years making jokes about your little sister who plays with computers. It means Mom and Dad constantly told me to get a real job while you were the golden child. I didn't know you felt that way. You didn't care enough to find out. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, Vanessa feels terrible. I almost laughed. I'm sure she does. She didn't mean. Tyler, stop. Vanessa meant exactly what she said. She thought I was an embarrassment. Mom and Dad agreed. You agreed. The only thing that's changed is that now you know I have money. That's not my problem. That's yours. What do you want from us? I don't want anything from you. That's the point. So, what? You're just cutting us off. Completely? I'm setting boundaries. There's a difference. He stood up. You know, we're not perfect. We made mistakes. But we're still your family. That has to count for something. It counted for everything, I said. Until it didn't. He left without another word. Over the next 2 weeks, the consequences rippled through my family. My parents were humiliated in their social circle. Everyone had seen the CNN piece. Everyone knew they'd uninvited their daughter from Thanksgiving the same day her massive success went public. The story made them look foolish and cruel. Mom called me once more, crying. People are saying terrible things about us, Sarah. They're saying we're bad parents. They're saying we treated you horribly. How could you do this to us? I didn't do anything to you, Mom. You did this to yourselves. We made one mistake. You made a choice. You chose to exclude me because I didn't meet Vanessa's standards. That wasn't a mistake. That was a decision. Tyler's marriage was reportedly strained. According to cousin Jennifer, Vanessa had been the one pushing hardest to exclude me, and now she looked like a snob who couldn't recognize value. Her parents were apparently disappointed in how she'd handled the situation. Dad tried the practical approach. He sent an email laying out reasons why I should reconsider my stance and remember the importance of family. He mentioned estate planning, future family gatherings, and maintaining appearances. I replied with one line, "I'll be happy to attend future family events, as long as everyone can agree that I'm good enough to be there."
He didn't write back.
The acquisition closed 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. $160 million. After taxes, distributions, and lawyer fees, I walked away with $87 million. My team members got life-changing bonuses. My early investors made significant returns. Everyone who'd believed in me when I had nothing was rewarded. My family got nothing. Not because I was spiteful, but because they hadn't earned it. They hadn't been there during the 14-hour days. They hadn't believed in me when I lived off ramen. They hadn't supported me when I needed support. They decided I was a failure, and they treated me accordingly. I wasn't going to reward that behavior.
Christmas came.
I was invited to the family gathering. I declined. Instead, I spent Christmas with my team. We rented a ski resort in Colorado. 23 people who'd built something together, who'd believed in each other, who'd worked 16-hour days and celebrated small victories and supported each other through hard times. That was my real family. On Christmas morning, Mom sent a text. "We're all here. Your spot at the table is empty. Please reconsider." I looked at the message for a long time. Then, I typed my response. "Mom, I spent 10 years with an empty spot at your table. I was there physically, but you never saw me. You saw a failure, an embarrassment, someone who needed to be more like Tyler. You only want me at the table now because of the money. That's not family. That's opportunism. I hope you have a nice Christmas. But my table is full." I sent it and put my phone away. An hour later, I was skiing down a mountain with Marcus and the rest of my team. We were laughing. We were celebrating. We were together. That evening, around the fireplace in the lodge, one of my developers raised a glass.
To Sarah.
For building something amazing. For believing in us. For proving everyone wrong. 22 glasses raised. To Sarah. I smiled. To all of us. To everyone who believed. We drank together. My phone buzzed with another message from Mom. I didn't check it. I was exactly where I needed to be. My relationship with my family remains distant, but civil. We exchange texts on birthdays. We're pleasant in the rare instances we're at the same events. But the closeness is gone, and I'm okay with that. Tyler and Vanessa separated 3 months after Thanksgiving. Apparently, the public embarrassment of the situation was too much for their marriage to survive. Tyler reached out once to apologize properly. It was genuine. I appreciated it. But I didn't forget. Mom and Dad have slowly come to understand that they can't undo what they did. They can't erase 10 years of dismissal and contempt. The money didn't change who I was. It just revealed who they were. Aunt Linda and I have coffee once a month. She's become the family relationship I value most. I started a new company. Smaller, more focused, solving a different problem. This time, I'm not building in silence. This time, I'm building with people who saw my value from day one. I bought a house in the mountains. Beautiful, private, peaceful. I wake up every morning and look at the view and remember why I did all of this. Not for revenge. Not to prove them wrong. But to prove myself right. I knew what I was worth. I always knew. And when they finally saw it too, when CNN put my face on television and announced my success to the world, when they realized they'd uninvited the only person at that Thanksgiving table who'd actually built something remarkable, that was their lesson to learn, not mine. I was already free. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living well, building something meaningful, and refusing to let other people's limitations define your worth. My family thought I needed their approval. Turns out, I just needed to believe in myself. They got the Thanksgiving they wanted. I got the life I built. I know which one I'd choose again.